The torpedo that sunk the Cheonan and took the lives of 46 South Korean sailors was fired by a North Korean submarine.
North Korea's weapons program continues to intensify.
Now surpassed 1,000 missiles.
Global leaders expressed concern over North Korea's latest atomic test.
Kim Jong-il's government strongly defended its recent atomic test as a rightful response to Western aggression. The president appeared at the UN to call for severe sanctions against North Korea.
This morning comes the news of Kim Jong-il's death.
North Koreans greet their new supreme leader, Kim Jong-il's son, Kim Jong-un.
우리 공화국의 통일은 남한과의 한민족을 갖고 올 것이며 경제와 산업의 발전을 갖고 올 것입니다.
Today, our beloved leader, Kim Jong-un, has united North and South Korea, forming the Greater Korean Republic.
Talks to end the Saudi-Iran war have stalemated once again. Meanwhile, damaged oil wells and pipelines burn uncontrollably, deeply affecting world supplies.
Although costs at the pump are ready to break the dreaded $20 ceiling,
The only good communist is a dead communist!
Across the nation, civil unrest has intensified with the demise of the U.S. dollar.
This is not a retreat, nor are we abandoning our Asian allies.
Under threat of annihilation by the Greater Korean Republic, Japan has surrendered.
Martial law is now in effect. Excessive force will be used.
hours after the president ordered a freeze on bank withdrawals.
We don't know where we will get our next meal from.
The Mexican government has imposed strict immigration quotas, effectively closing its borders to American refugees.
Korea's annexation continues to spread despite the U.S. Today, the Greater Korean Republic launched their latest communication satellite, claiming it will bring a message of peace to the entire world.
But what I want to pick your minds on is one thing, because so we got wars all over the place, obviously. One big conflict being Ukraine. So when the Ukraine stuff started coming out, I got pissed off because all of a sudden I'm seeing iron crosses. I'm seeing these white separatist, white supremacy movements. They're meshing with the government. But this is what I'm conflicted with after speaking with you guys. The way that we have is my perspective on that's kind of shifted to where I was looking at it as these are Nazis infiltrating the government, which, by the way, you'd think the left would have been freaking out about that the whole time. No one was saying shit. But, what I see in hindsight is, yes, these people were part of white separatism. Yes, these people were part of white supremacy. Some of them, different groups, obviously, not all Ukrainians. But at the end of the day, they came together to defend their country. And it's, I don't know, where do you see America going if we get invaded tomorrow? Obviously, guys like you, Brett, you're going to be fucking out there. You're going to be some of the first people out there defending us. And the Democratic media is immediately going to go, oh, these Nazis, they're going to start spinning all the shit, doing everything they can. And while I do think that there's a real concern that white supremacist elements could get in and that could be incorporated into the government, and that's quite frankly the last thing that I would like to see, I feel like we're dividing ourselves so much that we may not be able to have that same capacity that Ukraine has, to where they really all seem to come together despite their differences. And yeah, there was a lot of things like, yeah, there was some Nazis duct taping gay guys to poles. There was some torture going on. There's a lot of fucked up shit, and no one's denying that. It's a fucking war. But I don't even know exactly what I want to ask, because it's just a whole scenario I'm playing in my head. I guess, how do you think the American people are going to respond whenever war does come to this country, full-blown war? say it even just happens in one city or one state and it's one battle at a time, how do you think the American people are going to respond to militias fighting for their country? Because I don't think it's going to be it's not going to be taken well.
How will the American people respond, or like?
I guess just in general. Yeah, we'll start with the American people, but I don't even really have a narrow question on that. I'm wondering when that day comes when we're faced with the same catastrophes that Ukraine's faced with, which NATO started. Are we going to hate each other so much that we're not willing to have good men fight by our side despite our differences? Because that's something I kind of want to heal with this is, maybe there's even 2 or 3 people who watch this podcast and they're like, the world's gone to shit. I know I called this guy a racist 3 years ago, but he's really good with guns. He's really smart. At the end of the day, he was never really a dick to me. I don't care about his Confederate flag. I should probably go talk to that guy and get some advice or help or something. Like, I feel like there needs to be like a cultural shift in a sense before all of this happens to where Americans can stand together, because I don't think the threat of an invading army is going to be quite enough to unify us.
Well, if it happens like right now, in this specific climate, are you talking about like an external invasion?
Yeah, external. And obviously sleeper cells popping up. Like, this is the time we're taking America. BRICS has got together. All the foreign cartels have got together. This is the attack we've been planning for X amount of years. We can't let these imperialists get us. Time for October 7th on United States soil.
First, well, I can't say it can't happen, because we've already got Trump decided to let in 400 or 600,000 Chinese students. So we have that standing army here. So that army is already here. You have an army of Karens out there trying to protect the poor Chinese people that are killing, that people are defending themselves against. It would be such a mess. Like I said in the previous podcast, if it happens, I don't get to pick who I'm shooting at. Because
that's a sad reality. But when you said that has just rung in my head ever since you've said it. And I understand it, but it's
the only people I can really trust are people I grew up with, maybe my family, probably. I'm not sure. It would be such a mess that I don't even think I can wrap my head around it, to be honest.
It's an honest answer. Ty, the way, my videos, they're older videos I re-uploaded. The one, Divine Madness, Freedom. And the other one, the one and only thing we all can agree on, or can we? It's a long title, but I addressed that. I addressed that very issue is, can we all at least agree on freedom? Here in America, the culture of the American culture is supposed to be is about freedom. Like you were talking about the Muslim communities or whatever. If we can at least agree on that, like if Brad wants to only live among white folk, can he just be allowed to do that? Okay, if we can all agree on that, then when something comes down, all the people from different communities, yeah, we could fight shoulder to shoulder. But the problem is when we don't see each other as having that one common bond. Now, the reason that you have Ukraine, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's mostly a homogeneous society, meaning it's all basically the same race. And when you have homogeneous societies, that's something you learn in a race because, again, my racism was never based on ignorance. It was based on study, intense study on genetics, sociology, history, all of that. So understanding homogeneous societies have a power to them. There's an agreement. Now, but at the flip side, in the white power movement, I was militant and all this, that, and the other because, I felt like I was fighting for God and standing up for the truth and freedom. But at the same time, I idolized the men of the order and things like that, and was contact with Bruce Pierce and things like that when he's in federal prison. These men were my heroes. Now I'm not going to get into everything on that on video, but I ate, drank, and slept this, and I had come to realize, I said, I'm only fighting for God and my truth and my conscience because my fellow whites hate me. So you can't even get the white race to stick together. You can't get homosexuals to stick together. Even Mexicans don't stick together. Blacks don't stick together. So if there's something we can all agree on about at least standing up for one another's freedom, but see, they've taken that from Americans. It's funny, Brad mentions the Karens, and I laugh, but, he's not wrong. That's a form of division. It's a sociological tool used to divide us. Have you ever... well, for Brad too, but Ty, have you ever looked up the guy on YouTube, Chase Hughes?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
I think because you had mentioned him, yeah.
This man is ex-military intelligence, and he is low-key telling us how to undermine the system he used to work for. He's low-key because he genuinely loves his fellow human. He came to that. He came to realize it's not an us versus them. It's the status elitists want to rule over other people, manipulate, and it disgusts him. I see manipulation. I know when people are being manipulated, but they keep us manipulated against each other. And again, Ty, your work here is you're trying to show that we all do have a common ground. But if we're all trying to grab the power of the government statist system, white power people, constitutionalists, lefties, whatever, Muslims, everyone's trying to get a hold of the statist power, and then they get control of that power. They want that one ring, like the Lord of the Rings. They want that power. All of these different belief systems, including the Karens of America, they all want that ring of power, and all of that must fall. It must fall. We must stop seeking to rule over human. If you want to be free, then you have to recognize the sovereignty of your fellow humans.
I agree with you, but I think the question was, what would it be like if it popped off now? It would just be an ugly mess.
Now America would fall.
Yeah, America. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't have. I don't think we would have a country.
No, it would fall.
And on top of that, it'd be a bloodbath beyond even my imagination.
The minute, if you just say you had two factions, the left and the right, and they're fighting against the Chinese invasion, okay? At some point, when the left or right start seeing, at some point they start seeing the other one's going to get a little bit more power or influence, they will attack them too. They will undermine them too. Let's don't fool ourselves here. I understand warfare very well. Now, Brad, you talk about Brad. Myself, if there was an invasion, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I took an oath years ago when I was part of a certain little group that I can't even mention the name of, it's an offshoot of the Klan, that I would be a suicide soldier. I'd be a frontline suicide soldier. We were called the Legion of the Dead. And I meant it. So if there was an invasion of this country, yeah, I would do my duty, gentlemen, and it would be very evil and very wicked what I would do, because I don't believe in rules of war. I would be absolutely cruel and ruthless. But to what end would that be? Would the Americans go back to being free from the Chinese invasion and go back to fighting each other? See, there's a deep-rooted problem here that must be addressed. We have to respect one another, even if we hate each other's beliefs. We have to have enough respect to not want to use our beliefs to rule over another person like the Christian church did, where it fucking persecuted people, called them witches whether they were, burned people cruelly alive at the stake, delay the leader of the Crusaders when the Catholic Church got scared because they were learning occult secrets about the Baphomet, Sophia. They burned him slowly at the stake. That's what Christianity is. Atheism does the same shit. It slaughters people by the tens of thousands. Mao Zedong did it. Stalin did it. Lenin did it. Trotsky did it. They slaughter people. That's what government does, and Antifa is playing that. The right-wingers are playing in that. The left-wingers are playing in that. It's time to stop. The militant Christians, the militant Muslims, we have to say, you know what? I'm going to agree with whatever your lifestyle. I don't have to agree with your lifestyle or your beliefs or whatever, but you're my fellow human being and you want to be free. I'm going to fight for your freedom. You fight for mine. But they keep us at each other's throats, see? And we've got to identify the real issue. It's the elitist versus us, not whites versus you, not Zionist Jews, not bankers. Because let me tell you, there's elitists in trailer parks. The elitist mindset is big in cops and the police. Okay? You know, I said in the last podcast, I don't trust any cops because I understand the psychology of it. If you think you're over another person, you have authority over them, and you can look down on them, that's an elitist mindset. So you can be elitist in the ghetto or the trailer park. Okay? There are super rich people that are not elitists. They don't want to hurt anybody. They just want to invent things, create things, have fun with their money. So it's not about economic class. It's not about race. It's deeper. Look at what Chase Hughes and people like that. Okay, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. I know Brad knows about that. Okay, the Protocols, Learned Elders of Zion. These books laid out the game plan for you. That's a manipulation. It's a form of witchcraft. It is. It's a different form of the occult. It's messing with your mind. These psyops that they do, it keeps us at each other's throats instead of saying, you know what, Brad over here, he wants to be with white folk and live his community. Okay, I don't agree with that. I want to be an interracial, whatever. But we respect one another. And if I seen you broke down the side of the road, doesn't matter your race or religion or anything, if I can help you, I'm going to help you. That's the American way it should be. We used to open doors for each other. We used to be nice to each other. Excuse me, thank you. We were polite to each other in America. Let's look back at that time. Why were we so goddamn polite to each other? We felt a unity, a unification, you see. There was a bond. That's gone. And that was gone before Brad and I were born. That's gone. And it was
culture.
Sorry. Well, even when we were growing up, we were a lot more polite to each other than we are now.
Yes, sir.
I'm so shocked when I'm nice to them. I am so courteous to every customer at work that I interact with. I am, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Can I help you do this, that, and that? Do people get genuinely shocked when you're nice to people? We shouldn't live in a society where people are shocked when you're nice. That's
so
bad.
Fighting against physically doing war, which is horrible, pure horror, war against an invading army. We're invaded already. They have broken us down mentally. And the elitists, by the way, China's never going to invade us. There's a little secret. Money runs the world, and it always has. Money. I don't hate money, but it's people that are elitist-minded that have money. You get a lot of people in the trailer park. In the religious world, especially the holiness world I was in years before, got into Christian identity, if those people had power, they would have been as bad as the freaking Muslims. Okay, the women could wear dresses. They this blah, blah, blah. People, they want political power to force their belief on you or their way that you should live. Dude, I was watching, I shit you not, man, on YouTube. I was watching some footage from Jerry Springer and another talk show host and Oprah, and they were attacking these young teenagers that back in the early 80s that were dressing like goth or punk, and they were attacking them, and what they looked was, I look more wild than they do. You know, and they were adult men and women standing up in the audience and saying, I would be ashamed of you. You would not live in my house. And they'd say, your own daughter or something? No, I would not. Wow. Okay. It's amazing how we fear someone being different when they're harmless.
Keanu Reeves, a prophet, my scripts can fulfill like prophecies. Swerving mad rovers, fuck being sober. Said he was a psycho and my mama bipolar. Fuck, I'm losing my composure. Been feeling for that bloodshed. What the fuck's a hold up? All they talking shoulda, coulda me. I'm a add out. If this war with me, I'm killing everything they care about. If this war with me, there ain't shit I'm being fair about. G to 5 to 9, put
mensagem.